iRacing has produced some of the best battles I've ever had in my days of league racing, but nothing compares to these 3 series of races against the toughest competition, a champion in pretty much every league that you could think of. Here's a story of how we pushed each other at the highest levels of league racing.
It's a fast lap time, 146.63. Quickly, guys. Adam, we'll start with you. Pick to win.
I'm not going to go with the obvious one because I know you guys probably will pick him, so I would go yet again with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He shocked me with his practice performance. He looked really strong in the few minutes I was around him, and he looked really solid in that qualifying session. Did not expect him to have such a good open quali, so 00 may have a great run tonight here, rolling off P4.
Jurgensmeyer trying to close back in. You see how much closer he's gotten here through the hairpin. That 00 is closing the gap here slowly but surely on the 29 car, but up ahead, just a distant dot in the windshield. Reason Fonseca Moreno right now, that is Dylan Parker out front by almost 2 seconds.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I just...
Fonseca Moreno and Matthew Chastain. Moreno trying to get around Chastain, and that actually allowed Jurgensmeyer to get around Moreno.
Yeah, Ethan has damage on the front of that car after running into Chastain, who was kind of trying to get out of the way in a kind of poor position, Josh, but...
Whatever it was, front end damage on the 29. Slide him back into third. Looks like we got a first pitter of the top 3. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is on pit lane. Well, the interval here for these final laps, 9 laps to go, under 15 minutes. You can see the gap between Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Ethan Fonseca Moreno is 0.4 of a second, rapidly kind of bouncing back and forth on how far apart it is, but Moreno was right there with Jurgensmeyer. You know, straight away heading towards the final chicane. That's where Moreno seems to have been better on the track than Jurgensmeyer. He's able to close up a lot here through that chicane, closing it within 0.3 of a second now.
Well, I think Jurgensmeyer might have dropped the right wheels, or the right wheel was just barely in the grass there.
Moreno right on the back bumper. Couldn't make a move, but he still stays within 0.4 of a second of the 00.
Moreno peeks out.
Oh, I think he locked up the wheel wheels just a little bit going to the hairpin. So easy to do there. Such a challenging brake zone.
Jurgensmeyer's a little bit better on exit.
And you said a little sideways. That 29 car was sideways on the exit there of turn 4. And again, the battle for second is back on. Moreno right with Jurgensmeyer again. How about this one? Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's best finish in the Slide Job Racing League coming into tonight. A 6th place finish at Daytona Open this season. He is looking for his first top 5 of his career. If you're close enough to make a move, you got to make a move now, and that's what Ethan Fonseca Moreno I think is going to have to try to do here in this final lap. 0.6 of a second, Josh. He is close enough, especially with Jurgensmeyer bobbling there on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, both cars were kind of using up that right rear tire. They're trying to get the power down. Wow, Jurgensmeyer and Ethan both sliding all over the place through chicanes.
Moreno on the back bumper of Jurgensmeyer now as they head through 8 and 9. Couldn't quite capitalize. Moreno's going to have to make an aggressive move. But
It looks like Moreno has one more opportunity. He had such a great exit off of that hairpin.
I don't know how he bombed it into the hairpin, locked up all the tires. Is he going to do the same in 13 here? He's close, but not close enough.
Jurgensmeyer is going to hang on to second.
And Ethan had a great run there. You were right, Josh, about his run off the hairpin. He bombed it in to the hairpin, like Dawson said. He had to make one last chance move. I thought that was it. Somehow they didn't come together. Both drivers nearly with a huge mistake off the exit there, but a clean run to the finish.
I was thinking of pitting before him to get position on him, but he thought of that before me. He just decided to cover that off. So I thought maybe going a lap longer would give me the better tire advantage to go catch him back and make him pass. But he was hard to pass. I give him that. He ran a good race with me, so props to him.
bit of a gap on him because I could have lapped earlier, but he caught me back. But I think I was able to hold him off. But he raced me really clean, so I was thankful for that. But besides that, it's nice to finish second, but it's still not first, which is what I'm really waiting for. So.
Just a stone throw away from the racing capital of the world, which the four-wide world tackled last week, is a land never traversed in this series before, a meeting with Canada for the very first time. Bienvenue to the North, where for the first time, the KBueno Racing Network welcomes you and is happy to bring you coverage of the first ever trip past the Canadian border in the four-wide racing TJ's Team Series and the 5th race of Season 8 from Circuit Jurg in Montreal. We're on pole as Francisco Bacalhau started on the front row last week at Indianapolis on the way to his first four-wide win since 2021. He's been the fastest man in practice and stays the fastest in Q, a 136.494 for the Hialeah, Florida native looking for his second career four-wide victory in season number 8. Ethan Fonseca Moreno not too far behind at a 136.9. The San Jose Californian looking for his second win of the season after capturing the first at Richmond earlier on this year. Ready to take us green flag racing from Canada for the very first time.
Well, the guy behind him in the 92 has started to close that gap a little bit. Ethan Fonseca Moreno has been the dominant car of the day. He has led the most laps at 39, and a couple mistakes have turned that lead over to Francisco Bacalhau in the 30. But it has been a great day for Ethan Fonseca Moreno and a great season to his credit. That win at Richmond has punched his ticket into the playoffs. A 4th place finish at Nashville after going around on the backstretch was a great recovery drive for him. 9th at Daytona and 11th at Indianapolis after being in a little bit of drama there. It has been a great start to the season for the points leader Ethan Fonseca Moreno, and barring anything tragic, he should continue to leave today from Montreal in that points lead. He currently runs second, and he's making progress on Francisco Bacalhau for the race lead. Well, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer started his season about 100 yards from victory in the World Center of Racing at Daytona. He ended up getting into the fence, wrecking with everybody else, giving the win to Michael Walls, and he finished one spot out of the top 10 in 11th. Since then, it's been a second, and a 6th. It has been the definition of consistency for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as of late. He's put together a great run today at Montreal. He led a lap during the pit cycle and has kept himself in the top 5 all day long. Tried something a little different at the segment yellow. Didn't quite pan out to his credit, but he has maintained where he's been running all day long. Currently fending off Nicholas Baumann for that 4th position right now. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is looking for his 3rd top 5 of the year.
Moreno has been the fastest all night long. He's been able to hold on through strategy and found the fire when he thought he lost control of the race completely. Final charge. Bacalhau is there, top of the curbs, and he's going to be down the inside, nearly. But in the first ever trip to Canada in four-wide history, Moreno puts himself in the column, winner for the 2nd time in Season 8. And take the race lead, and then take the win. There's the push from Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. I think it's clear to say they're out of fuel here. I don't even know if we'll see a burnout.
He may not. He may just have to park it on the start-finish line for us. Oh, no, he's going to give us one off the hairpin here. Don't worry. There we go. Ethan Fonseca Moreno back in Paul's setup shop victory lane, but
For laps, I didn't get any race pace or any race trim or anything like that. I was just kind of like doing hot laps and shit, but oh, sorry about the cursing.
Race 2 wasn't really even close, but in our book, the score was still even, 1-1.
Bonjour and welcome everyone for the 6th race of the KBRN Truck Series from the Montreal Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here on Monday night, September 15th. Nicholas Baumann will be starting off from 3rd with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer alongside him in the 4th spot. 5th,
then it's Ethan Fonseca Moreno and Curtis Kelly
setting the individual fastest lap. How many laps can you consistently set at a decent enough pace to take care of your tires? That's what it's all about. And Justin Rott, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer are nose to tail as it looks like struggling to get out of the corners. Justin Rott, he is slowing
really,
down.
really slow.
I think he might have some damage. It looks like the right front possibly damaged on that truck because he is still going pretty slow.
Yeah, Ethan Fonseca Moreno, he's always a shark in the water, pretty much no matter where you go. So it's no surprise to see him making some time here early. And he's got a lot of more work to do, but he's got plenty of laps to do it.
Plenty of laps, and he made the toughest challenge, or the toughest work, if you will, complete on that opening lap, gaining nearly 10 positions from the drop of the green flag. So to work from 7th to the lead, and the next 35 should be probably a little bit less difficult, all things considered. So good start right now for the 77. And
I don't think Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's tires are screaming at him quite like that, but yeah, Benson, he's making a little bit of headway on the 0-0.
Slowly closing the gap. There's your top two nose to tail, but this could really work out for Shuey in terms of track position.
And you can use that strategy to overcome these obstacles. It's going to be huge for you, especially when you're not just a battle for a playoff spot, but for the points lead.
There's the move by Benson to the inside, offsets the 0-0 for a little bit. That could possibly open up the door in the next couple of corners, getting within that extra car length. Justin Rott still sits within 2 seconds, and slowly, in all of this time, Ethan Fonseca Moreno has been running faster and faster, and slowly but surely closing the gap up. So don't discount the 077 from being able to battle, as Jurgensmeyer and Benson are putting on a good show here 13 laps in.
It's been about a truck length, but we'll see if Benson tries anything into the hairpin. He's late on the brakes.
Has to woe it down to avoid from spinning out. Look at him trying to hold on to that car as the first gear really spins up the rear tires on that 38 truck. And as they go by, it will be this lap for the 0-0. And it will
this
be
should
for the
draw
rest.
the rest of the field to pit road. And I really do think that they're gonna try to do this race on one stop, because they could try to split this second run in half and go 10-10. But for me, I just don't really see the math behind that one.
And I'll tell you what, Moreno did not take 4 tires on that pit stop. Whatever he did, it was a short stop because he's going to take over the race lead. And there's the blend just in front of Moreno. May have taken 4 tires in the end of it all. Indeed he did, based off the 14-second pit stop, but that's 1 lap of better tires. That's just how good of an outlap the 077 had. Now he has warm tires and is all over the back bumper of your race leader.
The spot that I actually wouldn't love being in here is the leader, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, because there's not really much you can do if the 077 undercuts you. You have to establish the strategy from the lead spot. We saw how much time he bled to the 077 with that first set of pit stops right there, and the difference between brand new tires and tires at the back end of a run. So you would think the 0-0 would have to be aggressive in his strategy. Fonseca Moreno was just going to go all out for 10 laps and all out for 10 laps. He would have gotten at least to the 0-0, but he's not even made so much headway on him to even get within striking distance since they exited pit road. So it makes me think that Moreno might actually believe he's got a chance to save enough as well. Answer. But
honestly, I don't always look at Jurgensmeyer sliding through there. That's not helping his tires. But Nate, honestly, with the amount of fuel that they would need to even get to the end, it is certainly possible that they go for a no tire strategy, because if you take no tires and just fuel, you're probably looking at maybe 3 seconds of stationary time compared to certainly at least 9 seconds for a 2-tire call, no matter which side you take. Those 6 seconds by about 14 seconds off the race lead. And then Juan Escamilla has done a great job to recover up to the 6th spot in this race. After his lap 1 troubles from the front rows, Moreno will peek to the inside. Not an actual move, but trying to see if he can fake out the 0-0. He'll try to get a better exit than the 0-0, and he just might at the front of the field. Like I said, there's Ben's a little bit further back. And that's a great corner right there for Moreno, who'll get off right on the back bumper of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
he might actually be able to take a shot in the hairpin. He threw the dummy last time by, but we'll see. We're on board with the 077. Here he is. He's a lane lower. He's going to dive in on the 0-0.
Contact!
And it's contact at the apex.
Moreno will slow down and try to give the 0-0 the place back. Does not want to make the move that way. Jurgensmeyer will keep the spot ahead after the contact.
And you come to pit road, and I think if you're the leaders, you might as well run this thing till it goes dry, if it's even remotely close.
As there's Moreno now peeking to the inside, further up ahead than he was the previous time. Jurgensmeyer will give him the space. Moreno doesn't drift up nearly as much, has the nose out in front, but who can get the power down as they remain door to door down this back straightaway?
Drag race towards Wall of Champions, but it's going to be over before they even get to the straight part. New leader, Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He's finally put a little bit of damage into the armor of the 00. Now we're going to see if anyone decides to pit.
No pitting, but they are side by side into the final chicane. Moreno with the better line, despite having the narrower entry, will take over the race lead. Nobody pits.
Thinking for a second now, if they were going to pit, they would have come in that lap. Benson didn't take tires, so we're going to still see pretty much every single time we're going to have our eyes glued to that commitment line. As now Jurgensmeyer gets a little bit of an attempt there, maybe the crossover on Ethan Fonseca Moreno. He's close, nearly got to the quarter panel. He might try the outside of the pit.
Has the outside Moreno protect the bottom, and that was a very dangerous move from the 00, I'll say, from the standpoint of he could very clearly get a slowdown from cutting that curb too much per iRacing, but Moreno stands tall in his defense. Will hang on to the race lead, and we'll see if anybody on this lap of your race leaders decides to pit. The gap between themselves and Kyle Benson has not really shrank despite the fuel-saving efforts. As there's Jurgensmeyer now peeking to the inside, and that's going to be a strong move to go for the race lead. They'll make contact.
I think that might be the first time we've seen a pass for position at Wall of Champions this race, and what a job it was by Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He said, "You said I was too conservative, too consistent on the race. Here's some aggression for you. Back to the race lead."
To get to the checkered flag under power to capture another win. Inside this top 5, there's only one current race winner, and that's third place Justin Rott. Your top 2 have not gone to victory lane yet this season. Could it be 6 for 6 in this young season as we enter the final corner? There's Moreno. I think he tried to pit. I think he tried to pit there going into the final corner, and he will, so he does not have the fuel. He waited until the last lap. Does Jurgensmeyer have enough to get around? White flag. And all he has to do is wrap around this next straightaway, and it might just be enough. No track, no cars on the nearest vicinity of the racetrack as this 00 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who's driven a great race on his own right, and he can practically coast it from here after holding off Ethan Fonseca Moreno, Justin Rott, and everybody in the fuel-saving strategy. It is the one stop that works for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer as he wraps around the final chicane. He'll win from Montreal.
What a job. What a job to save that fuel. It was a high-intensity final run. It looks like perhaps crawling up the front straightaway here. Justin Rott's going to end up coming home second. It'll be interesting to see if Gabe Cazzola held on to the fuel for third, and
I think he's out.
He's found himself parked in turn 1.
Just the race that I ran, I felt like it was almost perfect. Just able to hold the lead the whole time. And when Benson was hounding me, I was prioritizing that first place position because I know that it's so much easier to save fuel when you're leading, and that's why when Ethan got by me, I knew he had to save a lot of fuel. So I took my first opportunity at him. I just wasn't going to let him sit there and save fuel in front of me while I was unable to pass him. So,
but also, did you think maybe at that point Jurg would have realized I should have been saving a lot more? Did you think he had a chance to even catch him there on the last lap, that he might run out?
Not on the last lap, no. I mean, especially because we're in the call together, but he's really smart, so he never was going to let that happen. He's one of the better fuel savers I know, especially on the road courses. He won another race in another league a little while ago in the same manner where we had to save, but it was against the 2-stop, not just against each other. So